Key to the offense for the Blue Jays is Vernon Wells. His bounce-back ability has really gotten off to a great start, and last night another big night at the plate.
Well, he's healthy. The bat speed is back, so he doesn't have to cheat to get to the fastball. That means you make a mistake with a breaking ball. He's dead on it, drives it out of the ballpark. Later on in the game, he would hit a high fastball for his first double of the night, driving it over the left fielder's head, and then another hanging breaking pitch in his last at-bat, and he doubles down into the left field corner.
A real bright spot for this ball club early in the season has been the strength of their bullpen, and we saw that again last night. 2 2/3 innings of scoreless relief. Sean Kemp got it started. He was terrific. Jason Frazier came on for the 8th, and then finally the closer, Kevin Gregg, picked up his 4th save. Nick is back with the Royals. He had been to Kansas City to take care of some family matters. He is back and in the lineup tonight. He leads the major leagues in hitting with a .457 batting average. In fact, 3 of the top 5 hitters in the American League are here in this game tonight. Podsednik, Guillen hitting .368 and Vernon Wells at .364. So as good as these pitchers are here today, Markham and Greinke, they've got to deal with some red-hot hitters. Vernon Wells last night, another good night at the plate. A home run, his 7th. He is tied with Nelson Cruz for the major league lead in home runs. And 2 doubles just for good measure. Take a look at the Royals lineup. They have hit .323 on this road trip. De Jesus leads it off, and then Scott Podsednik. He has 21 hits so far. He's got an 8-game hit streak, batting .500 during that stretch. Butler, Guillen, Callaspo, middle of the order. And Keel, Kendall. And Kendall has a 13-game hit streak to start the season. Alex Gordon back in the lineup at third base. And Unieski Betancourt is the shortstop, and he'll bat 9th.
And that's a lineup that will face Sean Markham here this afternoon. He has pitched very well in his 3 previous starts this season, a 4.05 ERA coming in. He's looking for his first win here this afternoon. 20 innings of work, walked just 3 hitters, 17 strikeouts. So he has been very good. Sean Markham, not overpowering. a fastball. He had touched 92 on occasion. Slider and an outstanding change. And everybody talks about that changeup, but glove side command with his fastball will be key for him this afternoon. Defensively for the Jays, it will be Lewis, Wells, and Snyder in the outfield. Bautista at third, Gonzalez at short. John McDonald gets the start at second base this afternoon. Overbay at first. Molina will do the catching, and Sean Markham the pitching. And Lyle Overbay doesn't get enough credit for how good a glove man he is. One of the best in baseball. And having been a former infielder, Lyle in his 1,000th career game here this afternoon, it's always nice to have a first baseman over there that can help you out. And Lyle Overbay, one of the best at doing that.
1,000th career game today. Congratulations. That's a great plateau. David DeJesus will start it off, hitting in the leadoff spot. 0 for 5 last night with a couple of strikeouts. Strike one from Markham. We have talked about Markham, his ability to move the ball around, and he really believes that when he can locate that glove side fastball, that's when everything really falls into place.
And a great example there. Catcher sets up inside, Molina does. That fastball's in on the hands. And DeJesus, it ties him up, fouls it off quickly ahead 0-2.
Well, the mechanics of throwing that glove side fastball require that you really get out in front and finish that delivery, and that will get everything else to fall into place. 0-2 to DeJesus. Jose Molina behind the plate today. Molina and Buck before the game. Of course, John Buck, having played with the Royals throughout his big league career, has a lot of information about this lineup. Outside, just off the plate. So the two catchers had a nice long visit in the clubhouse earlier. The Jays did not hit today. They didn't hit on the field. Kansas City did. 2-2. Outside, it's full count.
When we talk about glove side location, his gloves on his left hand, so that would mean in the case of a left-handed hitter on the inside corner, of course, if you put a right-handed hitter in the batter's box, it would be to the outside corner. That's glove side command.
On the ground toward first. Overbay has to wait for it and beats DeJesus to the bag. You see Overbay talking about how high that ball bounced on this turf. This is the first day game they've had the roof open and that sun beating down on it. It's going to be interesting to watch the bounce of the ball.
It does. That turf starts to heat up a little bit, gets a little more bounce in it, and as an infielder you have to be aware of that.
Scott Podsednik, the leading hitter in the big leagues, batting .457. Takes the first pitch strike. 21 hits for Podsednik. That ties him with Jose Guillen, second in the American League. Shows bunt, takes a strike. Podsednik had been away from the ball club for the first 2 days of this series. He actually showed up last night in the 9th inning, but had to fly back to Kansas City to take care of some family matters. There's that glove side fastball just off the plate. Thrown with conviction.
And it really sets up what he wants to do with his next pitch to the left-handed hitter.
Little flare in left field, and that's going to get down safely. 22 hits now for Podsednik.
That was a pretty good pitch. Sean Markham put that ball in on the hands pretty good, but sometimes a hitter will spoil a good pitch, and this one Podsednik pulls his hands in and just dumps it into left field. Podsednik a threat to run 6 stolen bases in the early going.
Billy Butler 1 for 5 last night with a strikeout. Big lead at first base. First pitch off the plate outside.
Podsednik hitting second in this lineup, but I always, when I think of Podsednik, think of the, a leadoff hitter, a guy that can get on board, run, make things happen with his legs.
Inside off the plate, ball 2.
Of course, Markham with a quick move to first base, very athletic, and pretty good to the plate also.
Pretty good stolen base percentage by Podsednik. Kansas City toyed with the idea of flip-flopping them, but settled on De Jesus in the leadoff spot. Both of them have just about 2,500 at-bats. Podsednik actually over 2,500. And De Jesus has a better career average and a better on-base percentage in the leadoff spot. 2 balls and no strikes. Quick throw to first. Podsednik just trying to get a feel for Markham today, just how quick he is through the first base bag.
He looked like he was leaning a little bit, but sometimes a base stealer will extend the lead with no thought of trying to steal second base, but wants to draw a throw to get a read on how quick you are and how much can he expand on that lead.
Down, ball 3.
And you can see just the fact that the speed is over there, although he has not run yet, it has distracted Markham. Now he's behind in the count to Butler, 3-0.
There's a strike. Kansas City runs at a very high success rate. They are 17 of 19 in steal attempts, and that's significant because once you get a base runner on, you don't want to have him thrown out. But the trend back to the stolen base is rampant. It's all over baseball.
How many SBs did the Rangers have against the Red Sox last night?
There goes Podsednik, a drive down the left field line. That ball is fair, up against the wall. Podsednik into third. He's going to get the stop sign. Billy Butler will go into second. Fred Lewis did a pretty good job of going into the corner and playing the ball off the wall.
Now, this is what speed can do. It becomes a distraction, and you fall behind in the count 3-1. And that allows the hitter to be very selective, and Butler drives the ball hard down into the left field corner. Podsednik had a little trouble, it looked like, right here finding the baseball. But Fred Lewis got it quickly back into the infield, and the Royals are in business.
Yeah, if Podsednik sees the ball off the bat, he's got a chance to score on that ball down in the corner. He just couldn't locate it and had to hesitate going into second. Second and third with 1 out. Jose Guillen, the cleanup batter. Outside corner for a strike. Guillen, one of those 3 hitters in the top 5 playing here this afternoon. He's batting .368. Inside, just off the plate. Guillen has power, of course. 5 home runs so far. Takes a fastball up. 2 balls and a strike. I mentioned Kansas City swinging hot bats on this road trip. This is the 9th game of the 9-game road trip. They have hit .323 on the trip. They lead the American League with a .301 team batting average. Swinging a drive down the left field line. That ball is gone. 3-run home run for Jose Guillen, his 6th of the season, and the Royals have jumped out to an early lead. Middle of this order has done damage all year long, and Billy Butler's double down in the corner, followed up by the 3-run home run for Jose Guillen.
And Jose Guillen is having himself a fine road trip. And just a fastball in. He pulls his hands in, makes a nice adjustment, and drives it out of the ballpark.
Alberto Callaspo swings at the first pitch and hits it into left. Fred Lewis is there for the second out. Guillen, we mentioned how hot he is, and the bat continues to do some damage. 6th home run of the season for Guillen.
He's now 16 for 35 on the road trip with 8 RBIs.
Rick Ankiel, the center fielder, takes the pitch outside. One and one.
Well, if you're Sean Markham, you have to just forget about what's happened and settle in.
There's that great changeup that Ankiel chased, swung over the top of him.
And think in terms of, let me get to the 7th inning of this ball game, shut the Royals down.
Well, we saw a good example of that in yesterday's game when Dana Evelyn went out there and didn't have great stuff, but pitched into the 6th inning. Kept his ball club in the game. He allowed 3 runs, just 2 earned runs, and the Jays bats would come back and win it 4-3. Jose Molina got a bit of a foul tip there. Wally Bell giving him a break, see if he can't help him regroup a little bit. Right on that left bicep. One of the areas you can't put a pad on. A ball and 2 strikes to Ankiel. He strikes out. Markham gets the strikeout to end the 1st inning, but 3 hits, including Jose Guillen's 3-run home run, his 6th of the season, to put Kansas City out in front 3-0. Noon game. Luis Gonzalez and Lynn, the top 3. Then Vernon Wells, who's had a great homestand. 371 on the homestand with 6 doubles and 3 home runs. Overbay, Bautista, Snyder, Molina behind the plate, and John McDonald makes the start at second base.
Zach Greinke this afternoon enters the ball game with a 3.57 ERA in 3 starts.
Lewis cuts at the first pitch and fouls it back. Fred Lewis been in the lineup last 3 days. Gets a chance to face Zach Greinke, who's allowed more hits than innings pitched, something that you don't really relate to with Greinke. Pushed him back off the plate. 1-1.
Well, if you look at what he did last year, pitched 229 in the 3rd innings, gave up just 195 hits. 242 strikeouts. Those are incredible numbers.
Two and one to Fred Lewis. Good cut, foul back. Greinke's strikeout total from a year ago, second in franchise history to Dennis Leonard, who struck out 244 in 1977. Look at the numbers against the A's. 6 and 15 for his career. There's a strikeout on a breaking pitch, and Lewis goes down swinging. One out.
Really, the word is he hasn't established his fastball as much as he needs to. He did in this at bat, and the result, when he goes to the breaking ball, the hitter's fooled and well out in front, but he did a nice job of pounding Freddie Lewis with that fastball before he went to that hard breaking pitch.
Shortstop Alex Gonzalez swings at the first pitch, and it's popped straight back behind the backstop.
All pitchers, it seems, at some point, once in a while, they'll just fall in love with a particular pitch that they have a lot of confidence in and forget to use that one right there.
Still the best pitch in baseball, a well-located fastball. You start carving up the strike zone with a fastball, it forces hitters to expand. 0-2 pitch from Greinke. High one. Alex Gonzalez leads the major leagues this season with 8 doubles. He's shown an awful lot of pop early going. Got 4 home runs to go along with those 8 doubles. Another high fastball. You can see Greinke's got an easy motion, and that ball is jumping out of his hand at 94.
He's thrown 9 pitches so far in this ball game. Just one has been a breaking ball. So maybe the thought or game plan for Greinke today is establish himself with the fastball.
Greinke's always been a pitcher that had the ability to throw all his pitches, even when he was being scouted prior to being drafted by Kansas City. There's talk among the scouts that he didn't have enough fastball to really be a big league pitcher. But he heard that talk was going around in one of his high school games. He walked over to a group of scouts and said, "You know what? I'm going to throw all fastballs today, and you be the judge." It worked.
Yeah, it's pretty successful.
2-2 pitch to Gonzalez in the dirt. 3-2.
Pretty confident young man to walk over and say that to some scouts.
Yeah, and just to let them know, I've got the ability to pitch with just about anything I want. But you ask a lot of veteran pitchers, and any of them, they'll tell you they wish they would have used their fastball a little more throughout their career. 3-2 to Gonzalez. He walked.
Well, a nice at bat from Alex Gonzalez. He fell behind quickly, 0-2, but able to battle back, draw a walk.
Well, we have seen through the early going that this Blue Jays team can erase early deficits. They've done it all year long. They have 5 come from behind wins, including last night's game.
Well, and the reason for that is they can strike quickly. They lead the majors with 22 home runs.
Adam Lynn takes a fastball on the outside corner.
And when you can hit the ball out of the ballpark, you can get yourself back in the game very quickly.
Inside off the plate. Greinke's not afraid to do that either. He takes charge of that strike zone, and if you think somebody's getting a little too comfortable, he'll push you back off the plate. Just another weapon. Changeup down and away. 2 balls and a strike to Adam Lynn. For the first time this season, Lynn failed to reach base safely in last night's game. He was 0 for 3. and a sac fly in the first. Off the plate, 3-1. So Greinke again showing a familiar pattern. He walked 5 in his last start against Minnesota in 5 innings.
It appears after getting ahead in the count to Alex Gonzalez and then to Adam Lind, he's trying to be a little too fine and make every pitch perfect.
Just on the corner.
And when you get to nibbling a little bit, oftentimes you'll pitch yourself into trouble. And it goes back to, he has an outstanding arm. Trust the fastball. Don't try to make every pitch the perfect pitch.
Gonzalez hit first, 1 out. There goes Gonzalez, swinging a ground ball towards second. Callaspo quickly to second for 1, back to first. Double play. Even with the base runner on the move, Alberto Callaspo made quick work of that ground ball and shoveled it to Betancourt. Gonzalez has to dance out of the way, and Greinke gets the support of his defense. 3-0 Kansas City.
Homeowners helping homeowners.
Jason Kendall starts it off here in the second, takes a first pitch strike from Markham. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. Kendall singled in his first at bat in the second last night to extend his season opening hit streak to 13 games. Anytime you talk about records around Kansas City, somewhere you're going to find the fellow named George Brett tied to it. And Brett has the franchise record for hit streak to start the season. He had a 19-gamer back in 2003. On the ground, Gonzalez behind second. One out. Markham has the ability to turn that fastball over, get ground balls, and because he can go back and forth so effectively with his velocity, he can get a lot of weak ground balls when those hitters get out in front. Alex Gordon takes the strike. Gordon just off the disabled list. He broke a thumb with a head-first slide in spring training.
Now there you get another great example of the glove side location. He really looked like a little cut fastball that he ran in on the hands of Gordon, really tied him up.
0-2 to Gordon. Strike 3 called. Outside corner with a fastball. Busted him inside with the cutter and went down and away with the fastball.
This is the importance of pounding a hitter inside. It allows you to go back out here and just locked up Gordon. Perfect pitch right on the outside corner.
Yuniesky Betancourt takes a strike. Boy, how often have we seen pitchers in the first inning trying to get into the rhythm of the game, and the offense jumps them early. Got it working now.
You go back to the first inning. Podsednik got aboard with a base hit, and then the distraction of his speed led to a 3-1 count to Butler. And he would double down into the left field corner, and then the one mistake, trying to get a fastball down and in, he left it up a little bit, and Guillen hit it out of the ballpark.
A ball and 2 strikes on the Royals shortstop. On the ground toward third. 2 hops for Bautista. Good inning for Markham. He's retired 5 straight.
Fastball, you can get up to 95 miles an hour. Excellent slider. Occasional curve and change. And as we've talked about in the early going here, he must establish that fastball.
Greinke's up 3-0 here. Bottom of the second inning. Cleanup hitter Vernon Wells takes a pitch off the plate outside. Big night last night. 3 for 4, scored a couple, hit his 7th home run. Ball 2.
It's interesting, Zach Greinke has not pitched particularly well here at Rogers Center. He has a career mark of 1-4. 22 earned runs allowed.
Right side gets into the seats.
In 28 innings of work.
Well, Greinke a year ago got off to a great start. Didn't allow a home run through his first 111 innings. And it was Lyle Overbay who snapped that streak. There's a strike. 2-2. But what Greinke did so efficiently was pound the strike zone. Averaged just 15.2 pitches per inning a year ago. And as a hitter, when you're not seeing an awful lot of pitches, you don't really have a good sense for rhythm and timing.
Well, you haven't had a chance to really pick up movement on the fastball, spin on the breaking pitches.
Wells goes down swinging. Second strikeout for Zach Greinke.
And this is what Zach Greinke has the ability to do. He throws very hard, and this is nothing more than a 3-2 challenge fastball to Vernon Wells, and he just throws it right past him.
Lyle Overbay in his 1,000th career game here this afternoon. Takes a strike. Strike two. Overbay 7 for 15 for his career against Greinke with 2 home runs. Good numbers. Pushed him off the plate. It's interesting how guys can match up against the best and just particularly see the ball out of his hand, have a lot of confidence because of early success. Strike 3 called. Good fastball.
Defensively for the Royals this afternoon, Podsednik back in left field, Ankiel in center, De Jesus in right, Gordon and Betancourt on the left side of the infield, Callaspo and Butler on the right side. Jason Kendall does the pitching, and Zach Greinke does the catching. Greinke does the pitching.
Bautista takes a fastball outside for ball 1. Off speed pitch. In there for a strike. Slider, strike 2. Bautista had a big night in the series opener on Monday. Pair of home runs. He drove in 5. That came in a 8-1 win for the Blue Jays in the first game of this 3-game series. Greinke thought he had struck out the side.
That's a tough pitch to take with a 2-2 count.
Full count. Struck him out. He did strike out the side. Zach Greinke, a 1-2-3 second. He has 4 strikeouts on the afternoon. Kansas City out front 3-0. It begins at 1 p.m. at BlueJays.com. Sean will be chatting with fans about the 2010 season and other baseball-related topics. Visit BlueJays.com for details. David De Jesus will bat for a second time. Grounded to first base his first time up. Outside corner with a fastball, 1-1. Royals scored 3 in the first. A double off the bat of Billy Butler, with Podsednik at first set up Jose Guillen's 3-run home run. Strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes. After the home run, Markham really settled in. He's retired 5 in a row. Tough one to hit.
But when you're ahead in the count 1-2, you're going to go inside. And it's either going to be right there on the corner or make sure you miss just off the plate inside.
2-2 count on David DeJesus. Swing and on the ground to McDonald at second. DeJesus is retired. How effective was it when you were batting to have a pitcher make you move your feet like he did there with DeJesus?
Well, it's not so much about making you move your feet, but just the fact that he came inside aggressively with a 1-2 count. And that would just naturally make you a little conscious of that ball in, and that would open up the door for the pitcher to go back outside and take the sting out of your bat.
It's all about comfort level, and this guy right here is really comfortable. Average up to 468 now with a single in his first at bat.
And if there's one thing a hitter cannot get conscious of, you get conscious of the fastball inside on your hands, and there's a lot of ways a pitcher can get you out.
1-1 to Podsednik outside for ball 2. Podsednik hit a little flare into left field in front of Fred Lewis, and you can see Lewis is very shallow in the outfield. Podsednik just one extra base hit on the ground. McDonald, 2 outs.
Well, Freddie Lewis had definitely shortened up from where he was playing Podsednik in his first at bat. Of course, Podsednik much more likely to drop a ball in front of you than hit a ball over your head.
So now with Billy Butler stepping in after Podsednik's retired, Fred Lewis will back up. Butler doubled down the left field corner, his first at bat. Outside corner. Well, you can see Lewis down there, shaded to the corner and deep. Breaking ball in and over.
But again, you go back in the first inning, Podsednik got aboard, and that speed over there was a distraction, and he fell behind Butler. This time quickly out in front 0-2.
To right field, and that's going to get down for a hit. Billy Butler has 2 hits. 2 strike opposite field base hit.
You touched on the importance of pitching inside. There he has an 0-2 count. Now that was a very good pitch to Butler, and it broke his bat, and he dumped it into right field. Here you got to look at it. But if you run one ball in on his hands, 0-2 right there, he probably doesn't even get his bat on that last pitch.
All hits aren't necessarily mistakes. That was a pretty good pitch. 2 outs now for Guillen. Big swing and a miss. Guillen homered in his first at bat. A 3-run shot over the wall and left. One and one. Sean Markham, like so many good pitchers, really likes to work quickly. He's all about keeping the pressure on the hitter and not allowing them to get comfortable. Outside, ball 2. Markham is a very good athlete. Was a high school quarterback, played both ways in football, wrestled in high school, and played shortstop and pitched. Well, he's got an awful lot of athletic ability. 2 balls and a strike to Guillen. 2 outs. Late on a fastball. And that's the value of going back and forth. 86-mile-an-hour fastball, but because Guillen has to guard against the off-speed pitches of Markham, he was late. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at first base. On the ground, left side. Bautista across the diamond to Overbay, and Guillen's retired. A 2-out base hit, but Markham has been in a groove. Still trails it by 3. Time All-Star Gold Glover for the Royals and Frankie Broadcasting now. He's got a day off today. Thanks for coming by.
Well, I appreciate it, Buck. Anytime I can sit with 2 former teammates, it's kind of nice.
2 former teammates that did a lot of sitting while they were a teammate of yours.
Well, Buck didn't do a lot of sitting.
Well, I did.
We got a chance to play a lot in Kansas City, but give us your breakdown of Zach Greinke today. Looks like he's a little different than his first 3 starts.
Well, he's a lot sharper, Buck. He's got command of all of his pitches right now. He's throwing a slider for a strike, and when he was in trouble those last 2 starts, he's just getting ahead of hitters. And when he's ahead of hitters, that's when he's most dangerous. That's when a slider can strike you out. And today he's using a slider as for really more than just a strikeout pitch. He's using his whole repertoire right now and getting the hitters off balance.
Right, you played behind a lot of great pitchers in Kansas City. Dennis Leonard in '77. You had, of course, the great Brett Saberhagen, David Cohn. Talk about how Greinke matches up to those great pitchers.
Well, I think the biggest thing is endurance. So they all had great endurance. They all could throw a lot of pitches, and then they have games where they go out there and throw very little pitches and still win. But when you talk about stuff, all their stuff is pretty much comparable. Fastball, changeup, curveball in Sabe's case. Slider in Zach's case. David Cohn had different arm angles, but David Cohn probably most durable, probably threw more pitches per game than any of those 2 guys.
Frank, we were talking earlier about the comparisons between the 2 organizations. If you go back to the 70s and the 80s and the way both these clubs during their glory years, the way they were built and put together, a lot of similarities in terms of, speed, power, great pitching, defense.
Well, I go back to pitching and great defense, and then you add speed because both teams played on turf. And I think that when you play on turf, you got to build your team for that. And the Blue Jays and the Royals were pretty much identical in the body types, the type of athletes they had on the field. But the one thing that really stood out for both teams were they had good leadership behind the plate, and they had good guys. They had good pitching on the mound.
What about the farm systems of the respective clubs? It seems as though most of the talent was homegrown.
Well, and that's where it was back in those days when Cookie was ready to retire. I was ready to step in, and then you had Willie Wilson for Amos and UL for Freddie. And I think when you got away from that, when the talent in your own system quit coming, then I think that's when everything started to go the other way.
When you talk about talent developing your own talent, you are a member of the Royals Academy, Baseball Academy. Talk a little bit about that program and what the routine was day to day.
Well, the Academy Willard Rance was more of an experimental school that Ewan Kaufman wanted to start. He thought there were a lot of players being missed around the country, so he just held tryout camps all over the United States. He was looking for great athletes to send to this one complex in Sarasota, Florida, and bring major league players in to teach them how to play baseball. And then we did the fundamentals 6 days a week. and before you know it, we were playing baseball. We kind of had an idea of what it felt like to be a professional baseball player, and the more fundamentals we learned how to play, the better our team played. And really, I was about a month from being 20 years old when I went in, and once I got all the fundamentals down, in 2.5 years, I was in the major leagues.
John McDonald hits one to center, and Keel's got a beat on it. Quick inning for Zach Greinke. 3 up, 3 down inning. Greinke's on a roll. Frank White, it was a pleasure to talk to you. Great to see you, and we'll look forward to seeing you down the road.
Thank you, Buck. I appreciate it.
Great to see you.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
See you, Rance.
Fenway Park and watch the Blue Jays take on the Boston Red Sox. You and 3 of your friends will see the Red Sox and the Jays at Fenway Park. Price includes airfare, hotel accommodations, $1,000 spending money, and a meet and greet on the field. To enter, visit BlueJays.com. A great trip to Boston. Alberto Callaspo will start things off in the 4th. Takes a curveball down. Callaspo swung at the first pitch back in the 1st inning and flied out to left. Hits this one hard toward right field. Travis Snyder giving ground, drifting, but on the warning track makes the catch. That ball hung up for Snyder, and he was able to make the catch just a couple feet in front of the wall.
Well, the ballpark does play a little bit different at times when the roof is open because the wind swirls around a little bit. It looked as if maybe the wind held that ball hit by Callaspo up just a little bit.
Not a whole lot of wind blowing around here at the Rogers Center. Markham jumps ahead of Rick Ankiel. Ankiel's had a tough series here against the Jays. 0 for 8 so far. Struck out in his first at bat. Bends back from an inside fastball. Ankiel now 3 for 28 on the road trip. Been a real struggle for him lately. The ball outside. 3 balls and a strike for the Royals center fielder.
Well, in this series so far, he's seems to have been very pull conscious. And the Jays have taken advantage of that.
There's a ball the opposite field, hit toward the end of the bat, but Fred Lewis is going to make a play on it, just in front of the warning track. And Keel now 0 for 9 in this series. Don't you find that when hitters are struggling, they have a tendency to try to do things harder, and that's when the pull stroke comes back into play?
Start trying to pull, the swing gets a little long, the body gets too active. And a good way to get back into a groove very quickly is think, let me stay back, especially in batting practice, work on up the middle in your opposite field.
Kendall takes a strike, 1-1.
And then take that into the game and apply it. And usually that will, in a reasonable time frame, get you turned around and going back in the right direction.
Jason Kendall fights it off. Well, here's a guy that uses the whole field. I mean, he takes it to an extreme, and one of the rare guys in the big leagues that chokes up on the bat. He chokes up about 3 inches on the bat handle, so he has better bat control. A ball and 2 strikes to the Royals catcher. On the ground towards second. McDonald to Overbay, and Kendall's retired. Another 3 up, 3 down inning for Sean Markham, looking for his offense to get him back in this ball game. Kansas City's up 3-0. Here for champions, League semifinal. Bayern Munich versus Olympique Lyonnais. Today, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Time.
Olympique Lyonnais.
Yeah, all big.
Boy, it's
big soccer
well, I guess when you spend 3 weeks in the south of France, you got everything down, don't you?
Football, great sport. Fred Lewis will face Greinke to start the 4th inning. Greinke has faced the minimum. He walked Alex Gonzalez, second batter of the game, but he was erased on a double play. Lewis slices it into the seats.
You know, we haven't had the opportunity to see Fred Lewis much in a Jays uniform. The one thing I haven't seen him do yet is try to bunt for a base hit. You'd think with his speed that would be something that he would be able to do. And if you look where Butler is playing defensively, of course with 2 strikes now, naturally you would be back. But you would think that he would be up around even with that first base bag. Get that right side playing back. Drag one, take the bunt with you, just get it past the pitcher.
That hit him. Inside fastball, clipped Fred Lewis, and he'll start the 4th. On first base, Greinke trying to push him off the plate, pulled it inside and hit the batter.
And you could tell by the reaction of Greinke that he is disappointed with himself. I had command of the at bat. I had 1 and 2. Just wanted to really make sure that he buried a ball inside to set up that next pitch. And now he has speed at first base.
Swinging a drive down the left field line. That ball is gone. Alex Gonzalez hit a line drive, 2-run home run right over the top of the wall down the left field line. He stumbled around the bag at first base and stopped and went back to make sure he touched it. 23 home runs now hit by this Blue Jays ball club.
Well, speed led to a mistake by Sean Markham in the first inning. And maybe the distraction of the speed, trying to get the ball in, not quite enough. And much like Guillen, Gonzalez pulls his hands in and hits the ball out of the ballpark. You can laugh about it when you hit a home run.
Adam Lynn takes the ball inside. Yeah, he'll get the raspberries for that. Boy, that base jumped up and tripped you right there.
Snuck up on him just a little bit.
3-2 game now, and just like they've done all year long, the Blue Jays have struck quickly here. A hit batter and a 2-run home run.
Well, with 23 home runs, leading the major leagues, the Blue Jays now. They also lead the major leagues with 67 extra base hits after that home run by Gonzalez. And it enables you to strike quickly.
Obviously, this offense will really come together and be much more consistent. But, boy, when you have power up and down the order, it can get you back in a ball game in a heartbeat.
And if all goes according to plan, they're going to get some more power back in that lineup this weekend. Aaron Hill.
2-2. Then swings and misses. 5th strikeout of the afternoon for Zach Greinke. He went upstairs with that fastball.
Well, not to take anything away from Greinke, but Adam Lynn the last couple of days has looked a little bit out of sync.
Well, that's the beauty of playing every day. You get 4 or 5 at bats every day, and you're going to have some peaks and valleys. Vernon Wells rips at it and fouls it back. Wells was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd inning. Takes the ball down. Cedar Gaston is trying to get his hitters to understand that aggressive is really the best approach. That was the 23rd home run hit this season. 10 of them have come on the first pitch. You can't be waiting around eyeballing all those good pitches.
No, because at the major league level, you don't get that many good pitches to hit. And oftentimes, if that first pitch is a good one to hit, why take it? Go ahead and be aggressive. You can make a lot of things happen.
On the ground toward third. Alex Gordon. High throw. Bounces into the seats. Gordon had plenty of time. He just airmailed Billy Butler for the air.
You know, he broke that thumb, as you mentioned earlier, Buck, on the right hand, that throwing hand. And you wonder if maybe that's not causing some of the problems that he's had with his throws to first base. He had a little trouble to begin with. This ball almost popped out of his glove. And then right here, it looks like he's got a pretty good handle on it, but this throw was not even close. And you just wonder if maybe that thumb's giving him some problems, because that thumb's what really guides the baseball when you throw it.
Really the basis of the foundation. That thumb supports that baseball when you throw it. Overbay takes the ball. Vernon Wells at second on the air. Overbay was a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. Got a few fastballs to hit in that first at bat. Back out over the screen. 1-1.
There is that fine line between being too aggressive early in the count and maybe chasing pitches that are a little bit borderline and getting yourself out. But if you get a good one to hit, there's nothing wrong with being aggressive on that first pitch.
Especially against a guy like Greinke that can do so many things with the baseball. 1-1 to Overbay. Got a piece of it and fouled it back. Overbay now with that strikeout for his career is 7 for 16 against Greinke, including 2 home runs.
Awfully good numbers against one of the best in the American League. It's funny how that works sometimes. Sometimes you could be up against a very tough opponent, but for whatever reason you see the ball well, you're comfortable with him, or you're on the same page with him all the time.
Looks like a breaking ball, then Overbay strikes out for a second time. 2 down now for Zach Greinke. 6 strikeouts.
The bottom just drops out of this pitch.
Jose Bautista. That breaking ball just a bit down. Bautista, we talk about first pitch home runs. He hit 2 first pitch home runs on Monday night. Really got him going. That was his 3rd multi-home run game of his career. Popped him up. Second baseman Callaspo makes the catch. Bautista's retired, but Alex Gonzalez hit a line drive home run down the left field line, just cleared the fence. His 5th home run of the season. It's a 1-run game. Sox will start it out with a 3-game series. They'll come here Monday, April 26th. Then right behind them, the Oakland A's. Off to a great start. Oakland 9-6 to start the season. They're a game in front of the Angels in the AL West. 416-341-1234 for tickets, or you can log on to BlueJays.com, or you can pick up tickets at most Rogers Plus locations. Next homestand, Red Sox and the A's. Alex Gordon chases a first pitch off speed pitch and misses. 3-2 Kansas City here as the Royals bat into 5th. Outside of first, Markham ahead again. A ball and 2 strikes.
Well, after the home run by Guillen in the first inning, Markham has really settled in. 3 shutout innings. And again, just doing a nice job of holding the opposition right there, not giving him any more. Now the Jays are right back in this ball game.
Breaking ball that Gordon didn't chase. Not unlike what Dana Evelyn did in his start here last night. Evelyn pitched 5 1/3, scattered 8 hits over those 5+ innings, and then just held his team in a position to come back. Gordon goes down swinging. Molina will throw to first for the out. One out here in the 5th.
You know, Markham been pretty good against the old hometown team. 3-1 with an excellent 1.09 ERA.
And Markham was born in Kansas City and still makes his home in a suburb of Excelsior Springs, north of Kansas City. Grew up around the Royals and Chiefs. Is a big football and baseball fan. Yunieski Betancourt grounded to third his first time up. Popped on the right side. Overbay shading his eyes. Has room and makes the catch. Good concentration by Lyle Overbay. He was dealing with that sidewall.
Well, it looked like he momentarily lost the baseball in the sun, and then the wind got it and started moving it a little bit more towards the stands, and he got some help from his catcher Molina, who was letting him know he was all right. And you'll see right here Lyle Overbay. Oh, we didn't get to see it, but there it comes out of the sun, and then he will thank Jose Molina for helping him out.
First pitch strike to De Jesus. David De Jesus, the leadoff batter. Couple of ground outs today. 2 outs here in the 5th.
At times you had to experience that as a catcher because you don't have the glasses, the sunglasses, and the ball goes up behind the plate. Especially Oakland comes to mind, that high sky on a day game.
Yep. What I always did was made sure I listened for the first baseman and the third baseman. You got it. A defensive swing to stay alive. It's still 0-2 on De Jesus.
And you get a little wind where the ball goes into the sun and you're expecting it to come down in point A, and that wind gets it while it's in the sun, and then when it comes out it's about 20 feet away from where you're expecting it to come down, and sometimes you see some funny things.
0-2 to De Jesus in the dirt. Sean Markham has retired 13 of the last 14 batters he's faced, coming after the 3-run home run to Guillen in the first. The only base runner, Billy Butler, with an opposite field single in the third. Down. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ooh, pretty good pitch.
Tried to backdoor the cut fastball, started off the plate, bring it right back to the corner. That's a pitch that over the years has been, that Roy Halladay has used so well. Set it up by going inside and then go back out, cut the fastball on the outside, bring it right back on the outside corner.
That time he got the call. De Jesus saying, well, if that first one wasn't a strike, why was that one? 14 out of 15 retired by Sean Markham. He's in a 1-run game. Looking for some more offensive support. He dots an I on the outside corner. Monday, April 26th, when the Jays welcome in the Boston Red Sox. The game starts at 7:07, but the auction begins at 6:30. You can bid on a lot of great prizes, including pitching lessons from Ricky Romero, hitting lessons from Aaron Hill. For more details, log on to BlueJays.com/auction. Monday, April 26th. Red Sox are in town. Greinke missed with the fastball. Travis Snyder with a 1-1 count to start the fifth. Jays are down by a run. The ball outside. Two and two.
Good changeup, 2-1 fastball count from Greinke. Had Travis Snyder well out in front.
No on the appeal, says James Hoy. Didn't go around till it's a full count. Travis Snyder trying to get on board here to start the fifth. Blue Jays fell behind quickly on a 3-run home run by Jose Guillen, but a 2-run shot by Gonzalez has made it a 3-2 game. There's a little flare into left field. Nope, it's going to be in the glove of the shortstop. Yuniesky Betancourt takes the pop fly, 1 out. Jose Molina making his 5th start behind the plate today. Cito Gaston was asked how he uses the catchers in their rotation. He said basically just day game after a night game. Going to make sure he keeps them both as fresh as possible. One thing Cito doesn't want to do is match up a pitcher with a particular catcher. Then the pitcher becomes reliant on that catcher, and if that one catcher should have a foul tip or need to miss a game because of some sort of injury, then the pitcher has a tendency to feel lost. So he'll make sure they both catch everybody. Greinke's thrown a lot of fastballs today. And John Buck got a chance to catch Greinke last year in that great Cy Young season. John Buck played in just 59 games a year ago. He had back problems and went on the disabled list for the first time in his career. Molina checked in plenty of time.
And to further that point, there have been situations in Major League Baseball where a certain pitcher was so comfortable with a certain catcher, that catcher might be the backup. But every 5th day he knew he was going to play because that's the man the pitcher wanted behind the plate, because he just, that comfort. It's guys get comfortable with the catcher because he's always on the same page with them. He has great feel for how they want to pitch or when they want to throw a certain pitch, or just have the ability to go out to the mound and tell them something that relaxes them.
That became a point of controversy in New York last year with Molina and A.J. Burnett. Molina became A.J.'s personal catcher. Center field, and Keel turns his back to the infield. Now he'll make the catch. He's got a good break on it. And Zach Greinke has retired 4 straight.
Well, sometimes that can be maybe a little bit of a rub on somebody's ego, but if it's helping you win ball games and a pitcher's comfortable with a certain catcher, it's only common sense that you would use catcher A for pitcher B, if you will.
2 outs now for John McDonald. First pitch swinging, hits it to the shortstop. In the dirt, but Butler digs it out. 3 up, 3 down in the 5th. Zach Greinke in control. 3-2 Kansas City.
SportsNet, brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Well, we thought it'd be a good pitching matchup, and it certainly has proven to be that. Zach Greinke, 5 innings, just 1 hit. That was a 2-run home run to Gonzalez. Sean Markham gave up a 3-run home run in the first, but both pitchers have really settled in nicely. Both starters have thrown 78 pitches. That's 79 now for Markham. Pretty efficient work. Scott Podsednik moves back from an inside pitch. A ball and a strike. Wow, that was pretty close. Looked like he went after it, tried to bunt it.
It did. It looked as if he made an effort to try to bunt the baseball. Let's look at it in slow motion.
I guess he pulled it back in time. 3 balls and a strike.
And if you're Sean Markham right here, you definitely want to make Podsednik hit his way aboard. At least give your defense the opportunity to make a play behind you.
All 4. Ball ran off the plate outside. Leadoff batter on here in the 6th. Markham trying to figure out who's got the coverage at second base. Should he get a comebacker? Billy Butler with a perfect day at the plate, 2 for 2. Doubled and scored in the first. Big lead at first base by Podsednik. He's 7 for 7 in steals this year. Markham's got even a better pickoff than that. He's very quick to first base. Snap throw to first, and Podsednik is back safely. Anything you can do to shorten the lead of a good base runner, and that's what Molina had on his mind. If I don't pick him off, I want him to be aware that he can't get out there too far. And he's right back out on that artificial surface. A ball and no strikes to Billy Butler, the first baseman. On the ground just outside the bag at third.
So you have to believe that at some point Podsednik is going to run off of first base. First time he got aboard, of course, Markham fell behind Butler 3-1, and he would double down into the left field corner. 1-1 count, not necessarily a real good pitch to run on. Of course, you have the option to pitch out.
Why do you think he's taken so much time looking at Markham?
Well, he has a good aggressive lead off of first base, but obviously he can't get comfortable. There's been a couple of snap throws over to first base that have been fairly close. And maybe Podsednik feels like Markham hasn't given him his best move to first base yet. And so maybe a little concerned that if I get the leaning just a little bit and he gives me that good one, I can't get back to first base.
He's trying to get some help from Eddie Rodriguez, the first base coach. Rodriguez has that stopwatch in his right hand trying to time Markham. Markham's done a great job of holding the ball. He hasn't fallen into a pattern. A ball and 2 strikes on Billy Butler. Just off the plate outside. Blue Jays defense has been exceptional early in the season, turning double plays. They've converted 4 double plays in this series. They have 20 for the season. And whether it's McDonald at second or Mike McCoy at second, they have really been effective on the double play pivot. Snap throw not in time. Markham's really done a nice job with Podsednik, taking the spring out of his legs. Two and 2 count on Billy Butler. No outs here in the 6th. 3-2 Kansas City leads it. There goes the runner. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Throw to second. In time. He got Podsednik. Boy, you can give Sean Markham a lot of credit right there. Molina made the throw, but Podsednik didn't have a very good jump because Markham really did a good job holding him close at first. First time Podsednik's been caught all year.
You can see a poor jump, but nonetheless a great throw right on the money to get the very quick Podsednik from Molina. Quick snap throw, and this couldn't have been in a better spot.
2 outs. There's a sinking liner into center field, a 2-out base hit. All the more significant now. That strike him out, throw him out, double play.
Yeah, it just seems like once in a while you get a base runner that finally gets to the point he loses his patience and just decides he's going to run. And that's oftentimes when he'll get thrown out.
Alberto Callaspo 0 for 2 this afternoon. Defense playing a big part of the Blue Jays game here again today. Strong throw by Molina. Down and away for ball 1.
Talking about the stolen base and how much more it's become. It seems to be getting more and more significant all the time and a bigger part of the game. You're talking to John Gibbons in batting practice before the game about, maybe it's time to start taking infield again so catchers have to throw.
There's a ball down 2-0. Well, pitchers and catchers, they're obviously the ones that have to work together, and pitchers unloading, and Markham was a great example of that, helping out Jose Molina by keeping a close eye on Scott Podsednik. 2-0. Outside corner.
But years ago, when everybody took infield pretty much every day, then the catchers had an opportunity to make that throw to second base and work on their mechanics, their footwork, their release. And that, of course, to my knowledge, nobody takes infield anymore.
Don't see it very often. 2 balls and a strike. Swing and a miss. 2-2. With Guillen at first base, Overbay has moved behind him. I don't think he's much of a threat to run, and this increases Overbay's range at first by playing him off the bag. On the ground. Gonzalez will have to go to first, and he does. Sean Markham with the leadoff walk, but Podsednik is erased on a strong throw from Jose Molina. A 1-run game. Autographs at the Jays shop at Sears, Young and Dundas, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. That'll be on Tuesday, April 27th. Chance to say hello to Ricky Romero and get an autograph. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Fred Lewis hacks at the first pitch and pops it up toward the Blue Jays dugout right on top of the roof. Ricky Romero, he is leading the American League in opponents' batting average, and he's second in strikeouts. Out to show that 13-win season a year ago in his rookie season wasn't a fluke. He has really come into his own very quickly.
Coming into the season, you felt like you have Markham back and healthy. And if a big key was, can Romero build on what he did last year? And I think we have that answer.
Pop up into shallow center field. Betancourt, the shortstop, makes the catch. One out here in the 6th. Beautiful day here at the Rogers Center. The roof has been open all game long, and you know, it's just a different atmosphere. These ball players get out and there's a lot of sun shining, and they just really enjoy it early in the spring, getting a chance to play outdoors.
Doesn't help that you have a bunch of young kids in the ballpark today. They just naturally bring a lot of noise and enthusiasm to the ballpark.
Breaking ball just off the plate. Las Diaz down at first base. 1-1 on Gonzalez. Alex Gonzalez walked and homered. And homer came in the 4th inning. A line drive over the wall and left. Another fly ball toward left field, but this one will stay in the park. Podsednik, 2 down. After this game today, the Jays will fly down to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Rays over the weekend. They'll have an off day tomorrow. Friday night, good pitching matchup. Ricky Romero against Matt Garza. Then on Saturday, Brandon Morrow off a strong 7-inning outing goes against Big Jeff Neiman. And on Sunday, Dana Evelyn, David Price, 2 left-handers will wrap up the series. 7:10, 6:10 on Saturday, and then a 1:40 start on Sunday afternoon. Two down now for Adam Lynn. There's a strike right at the bottom of the strike zone. Changeup missed down. Greinke, as we heard earlier when Frank White stopped in for a visit, really has exceptional command of his fastball. The slider has always been a very good pitch for him, and traditionally his out pitch. That fastball evens the count at 2-2.
Well, from the first inning on in this baseball game, Zach Greinke has pounded the strike zone with a fastball.
Swinging a drive toward right. This one is hit off the wall. Lynn stops at first base as David DeJesus played that bounce perfectly. A long single off the bat of Adam Lynn. Well, the ball just has not carried as well here this afternoon as we have seen throughout this series.
No, if it's closed here this afternoon, this ball's probably out of the ballpark, but hit very hard off the wall, and DeJesus, one hop off the wall, gets it quickly back into the infield, and I am absolutely convinced that Adam Lynn sits on pitches. The pitch before was a fastball, a little up out over the plate. He didn't even offer at it, gets that slider and hits it off the wall.
What do you mean sits on pitches?
He walks to the plate. He's made up his mind based upon, you know, a little history and studying his opponent. Says, I believe this guy's going to try to make me hit his slider or something off speed. And he's looking for it the entire at bat.
Vernon Wells fouls it back. And I guess the important aspect of sitting on a pitch is making sure you don't swing at the other pitches.
You have to be able to have the discipline to not swing at the pitch you are not looking for. And Adam Lynn does that very well. Seen him on a number of occasions not offer out a fastball and hit the off-speed stuff.
Vernon Wells just can't get on top of that high fastball.
And it shows you how good a fastball Greinke has. Vernon Wells is right now is as quick with that bat as anybody in the league. And on about 3 occasions now has just gotten a challenge fastball from Greinke but can't quite catch up.
1-2 to Wells. Just spoiled a pretty good pitch down and away. That looked like another breaking ball. Wells hit a curveball from Kyle Davies deep to left field in last night's game, and then followed that with a pair of doubles. Up and away, 2-2.
That pitch he fouled off. Now last year because of the injury he couldn't do that, but he's so quick right now he can wait so long that he's able to spoil an out pitch and keep his at bat alive. It remains to be seen if it pays off for Wells.
Strike 3 call. Wally Bill calls out Vernon Wells on an inside fastball. Greinke picks up his 7th strikeout of the afternoon. Good fastball inside. We'll show you the run support for the season for the starting staff. Brian Talent over 7.5 runs. Brandon Moore right there. Then Dana Even. And look at Sean Markham and Ricky Romero under 3.
And yeah, that tells you why Markham, although he's pitched very well, has yet to win a game. And it also tells you why Ricky Romero is just 1-1 on the season.
Yeah, they have really pitched well, but a lot of this is a product of the fact that Markham, now the #1 pitcher, will match up against a lot of Zach Greinke, CC Sabathius, Justin Verlander. And those guys don't give up many runs anytime.
If there would be any cause for concern, it's that you don't want, in this case, a Markham or a Romero to start feeling like they have to go out there and pitch a shutout all the time. Just continue to pitch good baseball and things will turn your way.
And Keel chases a wide one and strikes out. Second time and Keel's gone down. Casey Jansen loosening up. Six strikeouts now for Sean Markham. There's a bunt down the third baseline. Bautista barehanded, can't make a play. Jason Kendo always thinking. Caught Bautista back at third.
I could see it coming when he walked to the plate. When he stepped in the batter's box at the last moment, he took a glance down the third base. He saw Bautista was way back and just drops down a perfect bunt right here. Just no chance.
And do or die for Bautista, and he couldn't find the handle. That base hit extends the hitting streak for Jason Kendall to 14 games. Big hit in a one-run ball game, a one-out hit. Alex Gordon. Outside corner for a strike. Gordon has gone down on strikes twice. Looking into second, swinging into fifth. Won't be surprised if Trey Hillman doesn't try to start something here.
Especially if when you have a hitter that's really struggling right now at the plate. If you can get the count in your favor, where the opposition doesn't have the opportunity to pitch out if they choose to do so, then maybe you could start that runner, try to open up a hole and make something happen.
And that in turn forces the hitter to just concentrate on the ball and try to make contact. A ball and a strike to Alex Gordon. There goes Kendall. Swing and a miss. Throw to second base on the shortstop side. What a play by Alex Gonzalez. My, oh my. He took a short hop on the shortstop side of the bag and still made the tag on Kendall.
It looked as if Molina, I'm not sure if he didn't have a good grip on the baseball or he had to throw over the hitter Gordon. And it almost looked like he double clutched. And as you said, Buck, just a great play by Gonzalez to shut it down, reach back, handle a tough hop, and apply the tag on Kendall, who made a good, aggressive, hard slide into second base. It looked like there Molina saying, I didn't have a grip on it.
Well, I tell you what, that is a fearless play by the shortstop to go in there not really knowing where those spikes are of Kendall. But what he did was he took the glove right to the front edge of the bag. Didn't try to tag the runner, just knew that Kendall would have to find the bag sooner or later, and he was able to tag him out. Outstanding play. Foul tip. All right, Wally Bell said that was a foul tip, and now Molina saying, we'll check with somebody. And Wally Bell is telling Cito Gaston and Doug, hey, that ball hit the dirt. So short hop. He never hesitated. He called it right away.
Well, it looked like it did hit the dirt.
Yeah, you can see the dirt kicked up, and Molina tried to sell the umpire on it.
I'm not sure that Gordon made contact with it.
On the ground. McDonald has it, and Gordon's retired. Again, the defense making a terrific play. Alex Gonzalez with a great tag at shortstop to cut down Jason Kendall. 3-2 Kansas City. lead. It's 3-2 Kansas City. Bottom of the 7th inning. Greinke has allowed only 2 hits. Overbase cuts at the first one. Last year, Zach Greinke had 111 innings to start the season before he allowed this home run to Overbay. That came on June 5th. The home run he allowed today to Gonzalez was the 3rd already, but he got off to a phenomenal start last season. 111 innings to start the season without giving up a home run.
Especially for the type of pitcher that Greinke is. He's not a sinker slider type pitcher such as Sean Camp. You know, those guys that go a lot of innings without giving up a home run, typically they're a good sinker ball pitcher. But Greinke, he'll challenge you with a good four-seam fastball, and those are, once in a while, you're going to make a mistake, it's going to get hit out of the ballpark. So for him to go that deep into the season, pitch that many innings without giving a home run is pretty phenomenal.
Overbay leading off the 7th behind Greinke, a ball and 2 strikes. Just off the plate outside. Overbay a strikeout victim twice this afternoon. Greinke has 7 Ks. 8 now as Overbay goes down. Looks like another breaking ball down and in.
Yeah, this looks like that good hard slider. And completely fools Overbay.
Jose Bautista. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Greinke's slider is so effective because of the spin. You don't see any rotation. Looks like a fastball. Ball in the dirt. I'm going to ask you, when you hit, could you actually see the dot of a good slider?
Seeing if in a good groove and you're seeing the ball well, you could.
Two-one. Swinging it popped left field. Now Podsednik has to retreat. Looked like he didn't see it off the bat, but he was able to recover with his speed.
But again, you know, we talk about the emphasis on location. Even if that you picked up the spin of the slider, if it's in a good spot, you're typically not going to do too much with it. You're going to hit that ground ball, and as a left-handed hitter, if it's down and in a good spot, you hit that ground ball to the second baseman, first baseman, even if you pick up the rotation real well. Now, if it's up a little bit, then that's the one that really gets hit hard.
Travis Snyder with 2 outs. Fastball. 1-1.
We've talked a lot about the importance of letting the ball travel a little bit before you commit, and when you do that, it gives you the chance to pick up rotation. That's why a hitter gets into the pull mode. He's not allowing himself to see the ball long enough to pick up rotation. The result is they chase a lot of pitches out of the strike zone.
Josh Roop, the right-hander, John Parrish, the left-hander, loosening up for the Royals. Greinke's thrown 108 pitches to this point. Pop-up on the infield, left side. Betancourt makes the play. Another 1-2-3 inning for Zach Greinke. 4 times today, Greinke's had 1-2-3 innings. Casey Jansen will come in to work the top of the 8th. 10, the show, only on PlayStation.
Well, Sean Markham off to a rough start here this afternoon. Gave up 3 in the first inning, but beyond that, he really settled down and pitched very, very well. Followed that up with 6 shutout innings. Kept the Jays in this ball game. They're still very much in it. So you'd have to say a good job overall by Sean Markham, but again, not much run support here this afternoon.
Casey Jansen will come on to work the 8th. Jansen pitched in the opener of this series. Worked in the 9th inning. Allowed a single. First pitch swing. Betancourt lifts it down the right field line. Snatter can't make a play. Ball just sliced into the seats.
And when it's open, that wind will swirl around, and it looked as if the wind got the baseball and took it right into the stands. It looked for quite some time like Travis Snyder was going to have a fairly routine play. We've seen a couple of balls hit to right field today that appeared to be gone when they left the bat. One was caught for an out. The other one, off the bat of Adam Lynn, hit the right field wall.
Broken bat on the ground to the shortstop. Gonzalez fires to Overbay. Betancourt's retired. Boy, Casey Jansen has really thrown the ball well.
He's
late movement in the zone with everything.
He's back to where he was a couple of years ago before the arm problems, when he was an excellent setup man for the Jays.
There's a bunt pulled up the first baseline. McDonald with the glove to Overbay in time. Good defense again here this afternoon. John McDonald didn't have time to use 2 hands, so took that glove and flipped it to Overbay.
Well, the one thing the Jays can do is play defense, and this right here is just another outstanding play. And for, in back-to-back innings now, we've seen some just tremendous defense from the Jays. That tag play by Gonzalez at second base. Now, great play by John McDonald. And anywhere you put John McDonald, he plays second, short, and third, all well above major league average.
Podsednik with 2 outs, takes a second strike, 0-2. Well, John McDonald will practice that flip during pregame drills, just in case he might need it. 0-2. Outside. A ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and as an infielder, especially at the corners, you have to pay attention to that hitter all the time. Make sure he's not taking a quick peek at you, thinking about laying a bunt down.
Ooh, defensive swing, and Podsednik just got a piece of it.
And of course, at second base with a left-handed hitter or even a right-handed hitter who might push bunt, you have to be aware of the fact that if you watch that hitter, sometimes he'll make a little sudden move, maybe glance at you that kind of tips you off that maybe he's looking to try to bunt his way aboard.
Swing and a miss. Jansen makes quick work of the Royals here. 8 pitches for Casey Jansen. 1, 2, 3, 8. Blue Jays need some offense. It's a 2-run home run to Alex Gonzalez. He walked one and struck out 8.
Well, everybody talks about his slider, but today from the first inning on, Zach Greinke pounded the strike zone consistently with his fastball. Had very good command, walked just one hitter this afternoon, and pitched outstanding baseball for the Royals.
Josh Roop working in his 4th game. He pitched in last night's game, came on in the 7th inning with no one out. Molina with a big swing. Jose Molina, good game defensively. He's gunned down 2 Royals base stealers. He threw out Podsednik in the 6th. And then caught Jason Kendall. And the Kendall caught stealing was all about Alex Gonzalez. The throw was short of the mark, shortstop side of the bag, and Gonzalez made a beautiful tag on Kendall. 2 balls and a strike to Molina, leading off the 8th. Inside corner, 2-2. The game now in the hands of the bullpen. Casey Jansen had a perfect 1-2-3 8th inning, and now Josh Roop is on in relief of Zach Greinke. Base hit left field. Jose Molina starts things off in the 8th, and you can bet you're going to see Mike McCoy now. Here comes McCoy out of the dugout. Soria, the right-hander, he's the closer, begins to throw. John Parrish is the left-hander. What a job by Molina. Only the 3rd Jays hit of the afternoon, and Mike McCoy indeed has come on as the pinch runner.
Well, Molina, all he saw in that at bat was nothing but breaking pitches, and finally that last one was up, hanging in the middle of the zone. He hit hard into left field.
John McDonald. McCoy dives back in.
Now you have the option. You have McCoy at first base, who we know can run. He stole a couple of bases in the first game of this series, made some things happen with his speed, but you'd have to expect that right here Cito Gaston probably have John McDonald bunt him over to second base and then give the top of your lineup a chance to drive in the tying run.
Squares, pulls it back, takes the pitch. Well, traditionally, you're at home. First thing you want to do is tie the game up. So percentage would suggest you stick with the bunt here.
And if you can tie the game up here in the 8th inning, you might keep Soria off of you for another inning or 2, because he has been almost unhittable.
McDonald squares, bunts it back to the mound. Roop looks at second, no play there. McDonald is retired, but a perfect sacrifice bunt that moves the potential tying run into scoring position.
This is where again speed pays off. Roop took one quick look, realizing he couldn't throw the runner out at second base, and adjusted, gets the out at first.
Kendo with a slow walk to the mound. Little instruction with McCoy at second base, making sure that he looks at him, but they're going to make a pitching change here. That was part of that walk to the mound, the delay, to make sure Trey Hillman, the manager, had time to make the pitching change. It'll be a pitching change. The left-hander John Parrish will come on. 1 out and a man at second. second base. The left-hander Parrish in to face the left-handed hitting Fred Lewis. 8th appearance of the season.
And he's done a fine job as a specialist out of the bullpen for the Royals. And I just sensed when Kendall went to the mound that they were going to go to Parrish to pitch to the left-hander Lewis, and if he gets him out, would not be surprised that they'll go to Soria to get one out here in the 9th to face Gonzalez, and then, of course, finish the ball game off for them in the 9th.
Lewis off the glove of Callaspo. Here comes McCoy around third. He's going to score. We're tied. Fred Lewis with his first RBI shot off the glove of Callaspo.
Well, a breaking ball, and he does a nice job to stay on it. Hits it very hard, but right here it looked like Callaspo was going to be able to make the play, but he kind of short-armed it a little bit. But either way, if you're Fred Lewis and the Jays, you'll take it.
First RBI for Fred Lewis. And now you can bet he's going to try to work for a lead against John Parrish. And with the game tied, they stay with the left-hander against Alex Gonzalez.
Well, once the ball game's tied up, you're not going to bring your closer in, especially in the 8th inning. And you have to factor in the fact that they're playing on the road here in Toronto, so they don't get the last at bat. If this were Kansas City, it might be a little bit of different scenario.
Well, that run is charged to Josh Root. The book is closed on him. Gonzalez looks at a ball down.
But some more small ball. Runner gets on. You bunt him over. Base hit. Tie the game.
Boy, oh boy, again, the bullpen has come up big. Casey Jansen with a perfect 8th inning. 1-2-3 8th with a strikeout. Kevin Gregg is just tossing down there. He is ready. Another calling card to first. Parrish doesn't have much of a move to first, but Fred Lewis is not that familiar with him, so he's going to see if he can't figure something out against the Royals left-hander. We're tied at 3 here. Bottom of the 8th inning. 1 out for Alex Gonzalez. Swinging a drive down the left field line. Hooking foul. Alex Gonzalez, his 2-run home run in the 4th, made it 3-2. His 5th home run of the season. And Jose Molina with the leadoff base hit. Removed for the pinch runner. Perfect sacrifice by John McDonald, and the RBI single by Fred Lewis. Went too far. A ball and 2 strikes on the Blue Jays shortstop.
But again, you can't say enough about Sean Markham and the fact that he gave up 3 in the 1st, but then went 7 shutout innings, and then Jansen follows that up with another shutout inning in the 8th, and the result is the Jays have been able to claw back and tie this game up.
I don't care who you are, you get starting pitching, it'll take you through 7 innings, and then you can really minimize the innings you need out of your bullpen, and you keep an American League team to 3 runs or less, you're going to win a lot of games. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Jays have tied it up.
In the 4th inning, not wasting any time, the first pitch jumps on a fastball from Zach Greinke and drives it out of the ballpark, and that would get the Jays on the board and make the score time 3-2. And Alex Gonzalez just continues to pound the baseball.
A ball and 2 strikes. There goes Lewis inside. Kendall's throw to second base. Not in time.
Well, Fred Lewis could not have picked a better pitch to run on. The jump off of first base didn't look like it was anything exceptional. But this is a tough pitch for Kendall to try and handle and make any kind of a throw to second base. A pretty good job. But no chance to get the speedy Freddie Lewis.
So Lewis is in scoring position with 1 out. Gonzalez strikes out. John Parrish with the strikeout. Adam Lynn with 2 outs.
I am a little bit surprised that Trey Hillman, the manager for the Royals, does not have a right-hander other than Soria up throwing in the bullpen in the event that he doesn't get Lind out, to have a right-hander to come in and pitch to Wells.
Good point. First pitch strike.
Well, again, Adam Lind, I believe, will sit on pitches, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's looking for that curveball from Parrish in this RBI situation.
There was the breaking ball, but it was wide. 1-1 to the Jays DH. Then ripped the ball off the right field wall back in the 6th inning, but was held to a long single when David DeJesus played it quickly back to the infield. Fred Lewis with the RBI single has tied it up here in the 8th. He's at second base for Adam Lind. Outside.
He didn't even offer it.
You think he's looking breaking ball?
I believe he is. Now, sometimes you get to a count where you're ahead in the count, such as 2-1. You might decide, okay, I've got one pitch to look for a fastball and maybe change my plan. But Adam Lind usually very good with his discipline at the plate and not changing.
He got a piece of it and stays alive. Looked like a breaking pitch there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Now he's forced to just try and protect a little bit. You no longer have the luxury of sitting on one particular pitch.
And Jason Kendall is going to go out there and sort things out for Parrish to help him come up with an effective pitch here. Now finally the Royals have a right-hander up, and it's Robinson Tejeda loosening up in a hurry. You just wonder if he's got enough time to get loose should Lynn get on board. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Adam Lind.
This is where you just, especially lefty on lefty, just try to hit the ball up the middle into your opposite field.
Good cut. Fouled it straight back. Fred Lewis at second base will have to be aggressive with his lead.
You almost sense by looking at Adam Lind there with that last shot that he's thinking, is he going to double up with the fastball, or maybe did they use that fastball to speed me back up so they can go back with the good curveball again?
Parrish isn't quite sure what he wants to do just now. Off the mound to regroup a bit.
But if you sell out to the curveball with 2 strikes and you get a fastball, the at-bat is over. You can always look fastball and try to adjust, and that might be the best plan right here for Adam Lind.
popped on the ground toward first. Butler to Parrish, and Parrish gets out of it. But Fred Lewis ties it up. We're tied at 3 after 8 innings. By Z. Zenya. Statistical information provided by Stats Inc. Music provided by Universal Canada. John Buck comes on defensively. Takes over for Jose Molina behind the plate. Molina was lifted for the pinch runner Mike McCoy after Molina got a big leadoff single to start the bottom of the 8th inning. We're tied at 3 here in the 9th. Billy Butler takes the first pitch strike. Butler's 2 for 3. He singled in the 3rd, doubled and scored in the 1st. Struck out his last at bat. Left-hander Scott Downs loosening up. A ball and 2 strikes on Billy Butler. Zach Greinke, 7 strong innings, allowed just 2 hits. But he'll be saddled with another no decision. He and Sean Markham, both starters, pitched very well here this afternoon. Outside 2-2. Sean Markham went 7 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs. They all came in the 1st inning on a 3-run home run by Jose Guillen. But after that, Markham really shut down the Royals.
And oftentimes you get well-pitched ball games, then it becomes a battle of the bullpens.
2-2 on the ground. Gonzalez to Overbay, 1 out. Well, and lately the battle of the bullpens has been won by this Blue Jays bullpen.
Well, the Blue Jays have a very good one. You throw in Camp, Downs, Jansen, Frazier, Gregg, and you got to feel like you get to the 6th inning of a ball game, 7th inning, you got a pretty good chance to win it.
Jose Guillen takes the first pitch outside. Guillen's 3-run home run in the 1st, his 6th of the season. He added a single in the 6th with 2 outs. On the ground, Bautista wide of 3rd. 2 outs.
Well, you can't consistently win the tough ball games if you don't have good relief pitching.
Well, relief pitching is really something that is tough to predict. You just really don't know how the pitchers are going to react from year to year, given a number of innings they throw, how much they work, how many games they appear in.
Yeah, probably nothing changes more from year to year than bullpens.
2 outs. Callaspo takes a strike. And generally, when you look at a championship ball club, that bullpen's had a special year.
You can just look at the great ball clubs that the Jays had back in the 80s and the early 90s. They had great bullpens. 85, along came Hinkie.
Callaspo pulls it outside first base.
And then later on, we added Dwayne Ward and then Mike Timlin. Used to be Timlin in the 7th, Ward in the 8th, and Hinkie in the 9th.
How about that bullpen Cito Gaston had in the early 90s when he had Stottlemyre, Leiter, Boomer Wells down in the bullpen?
Pretty good arms.
0-2 to Callaspo. Inside. Yeah, it all gets back to pitching. I don't care what kind of offensive team you have. If we can put together a good starting staff like the Jays are trying to do here and then back it up with experienced bullpen pitchers, pretty good combination. 1-2. Base hit, left field. Callaspo keeps the inning alive with an opposite field single, his first hit of the day.
And really the only mistake that Casey Jansen has made since entering this game. Looked like he might have been trying to backdoor a breaking ball and left it up and it caught a little too much of the plate.
So Cito Gaston has gone to the bullpen yet again. It'll be the third pitcher. It'll be the left-hander Scott Downs coming in to face Rick Ankiel. Ankiel went over the hitting coach Kevin Seitzer, and they went over the scouting report on Scott Downs. Ankiel had not faced Downs before, so he wants some extra information. The left-hander comes out of the pen with 2 outs. Breaking ball outside. Left-handers are hitting .200 against Scott Downs. Right-handers not much better. .230. Callaspo at first base. Snap throw. He got him. Picked him off. Scott Downs didn't even have to worry about Rick Ankiel. He ends the inning with a pickup of Alberto Callaspo at first.
Well, this is his best move, is the quick snap throw, and he caught the runner leaning towards second base. And a nice tag by Lyle Overbay to record the out.
Robinson Tejeda. John Parrish worked 2/3 of an inning. He gave up the go-ahead base hit to Fred Lewis. The run was charged to Josh Oak, who started the 8th. Tejeda pitched in the opening game of this 3-game series with 2/3 of an inning, recorded a strikeout. So he'll come on to face Vernon Wells, batting bottom of the 9th in this tie game, 3-3.
Hard throwing Robinson Tejeda.
First pitch swinging, fouled it back. Vernon Wells with 199 career home runs.
Be a nice spot to hit number 200 if you're Vernon Wells and the Blue Jays.
Tried to do it, but chased the bad one.
Yeah, sometimes you get late in a ball game, bottom of the 9th in a tie game. Sometimes the hitters are trying to end the ball game with one swing of the bat, and you get a little long, or you go out of the strike zone. Really just focus on staying short and quick, trying to get a base hit.
3-pitch strikeout for Tejeda. Quick work of Vernon Wells to start the 9th.
And that last one was nasty. Looked like a hard slider right on the corner. And Wells just trying to somehow fight it off and see another pitch.
Lyle Overbay with 1 out. Overbay has a home run against Tejeda. Cut on and missed. Tejeda's got a good arm.
Yes, he does. He can run it up there 94, 95, and he's already shown us that he has an excellent slider, striking out Vernon Wells with it.
Left side. Podsednik in fair territory makes the catch. 2 down. I think the Royals are well aware that Bautista will be hard charging on that first pitch. He's been much more aggressive in this 3-game series than he was earlier in the homestand.
Yes, and this afternoon they've thrown him a lot of off-speed pitches, especially early in the count. But Tejeda throws so hard that you would expect that, a challenge fastball.
Well, Bautista was looking fastball, but Tejeda running up there at 95 miles an hour.
Especially if it's up a little bit, it's very difficult to get on top of the baseball.
That caught Wally Bell on the mask.
You've experienced that. What's that feel like?
Doesn't feel good. Wow. That hit him square on the face mask. Knocks your jaw back into your ears. 0-2 pitch to Bautista. Struck him out. 3 up, 3 down in the inning for Tejeda with 2 strikeouts. We're going to go to the extra innings. Extra innings at the Rogers Center. It's 3-3. at Tampa Bay to take on the Rays, who were off to a great start at 10-4. Then they'll return home for a 6-game homestand, 3 against the Red Sox, 3 against the Athletics, before they go back out on the road for a series in Cleveland, followed by 4 games against the White Sox in Chicago. Rick Ankiel. Ankiel was at the plate against Scott Downs in the 9th inning when Downs picked off Alberto Callaspo at first to end the inning. Fastball inside. Downs has that good moving fastball that he can run inside in on the hands of the left-handed hitters. And then that curveball got away from him. It's an unusual combination for a left-hander. If generally you think sinker ball, that's complemented by a slider, but Downs is a little bit different with that curveball.
Can be a very effective pitch for him when he has good command of his curveball. It's more of a I don't know, how would you describe it? It's kind of a 2 to 8 type curveball. Not as much over the top. Kind of throws it from the 3/4.
Big sweeping breaking ball. Tough to hang in on. There's a strike. Back in the count at 3-2. And Keel leading off the 10th. The Jays 0-1 in extra innings this year. Broken bat. Fair ball. First base. Overbay makes the play. There's that inside fastball, and Downs really sawed off Ankiel.
Now, Scott Downs, when he's on top of his game, he generally will pitch inside very effectively, not only to left-handers, but to the right-handed hitters also. And here he just ran this ball right in on the hands of Rick Ankiel. And Ankiel really continues to struggle.
Kendall takes a strike. Jason Kendall with a bunt single in his last at bat, came in the 7th inning. 1 for 3. That extended his season opening hit streak to 14 games. On the ground towards short. In the dirt. Overbay picks it out of the dirt. Good job by Lyle Overbay. Picked up Alex Gonzalez right there. Looks like Gonzalez might have got his spikes caught a little bit at shortstop.
Yeah, something threw him off, his rhythm off just a little bit. We saw him take a look back after, his foot slipped. And that led to this throw. But we highlighted Lyle Overbay defensively at the start of this ball game. And nice glove work there to pick up his shortstop. That was a tough hop to handle.
Good defense all afternoon for the Jays. Alex Gordon, the third baseman, takes the ball. Gordon's second start during this series. Willie Bloomquist started last night's game. There's a drive towards center field. Vernon Wells turns his back to the infield. On the warning track at the wall. It is a home run. That ball hit the facing of that deck in center field. And Alex Gordon is at his first home run of the season.
Well, we've seen a few balls to right field today that didn't have any carry. And this ball was hit well, but it really carried to center. And no doubt it was out of the ballpark. Vernon Wells got back to the wall. If this ball stays in the park, he'd have probably caught it. But a big hit by Alex Gordon to put the Royals back on top.
First home run, first RBI of the season for Alex Gordon. fresh off the disabled list. Betancourt with 2 outs takes the ball. It's 1-1. Breaking ball pulled foul. The Royals jumped out to an early lead, 3 runs in the first on the home run by Jose Guillen. Alex Gonzalez hit a 2-run home run bottom of the 4th. That made it 3-2. And then neither club scored until the bottom of the 8th inning when Fred Lewis tied it up with a single off the glove of Callaspo at second. Back up the middle. McDonald behind second, quickly to Overbay, and Betancourt's retired. But third baseman Alex Gordon hits his first home run of the season. A deep drive to center field of Scott Downs. The Royals are up 4-3 here. The closer trying to finish off this game. The Royals are up by a run, 4-3. Soria's 5th appearance of the season. He has 3 saves.
5 innings of work, 8 strikeouts. He has an outstanding arm.
He has 3 career saves against the Blue Jays. Misses down to Travis Snyder for ball 1. Snyder 0 for 3 this afternoon, popped up a couple of times. 4-3 Royals, bottom of the 10th. Ball 2.
Soria, so far in the early going, really has been about the only guy out of this Royals bullpen who's been consistent.
This is his 5th appearance of the season. Only pitched 5 innings. Inside corner for a strike. 2-1 to Snyder. Ball 3. This is Soria's 8th appearance against the Blue Jays. He's worked a total of 8 1/3 innings. Allowed just 2 hits. Cut on and missed. 3-2. Soria is a little unusual as a closer in that he doesn't have a particular dominant pitch. He's just got a wide assortment of pitches in command of all of them. 3-2. Fouled out of play. Travis Snyder trying to get things going here in the bottom of the 10th. Strike 3 called. Soria paints the outside corner with the fastball.
Snyder took this pitch as if he had something other than fastball in the back of his mind. That pitch really not that close. I mean, not even borderline. Caught plenty of the plate.
John Buck batting for the first time. He came on defensively in the 9th inning. Two balls and no strikes. It's only the second time that Buck has faced his former team, having played with the Royals. Right side. De Jesus battling the sun in the corner and makes the catch. 2 outs. John McDonald trying to keep things alive here. Will hit with 2 outs. Soria looking for his 4th career save against the Blue Jays. Outside corner for a strike. Popped up. Foul territory and back into the seats. 0-2 to John McDonald. Breaking ball cued off the end of the bat. Betancourt on the move. Good play. That'll do it. Soria picks up the save, his 4th of the season. Robinson Tejeda is the winning pitcher on Alex Gordon's first home run of the season. Jose Guillen with a 3-run home run in the first. Some good pitching, and this whole team really came back and put up a good fight late in the game.
Well, both starters did an outstanding job here this afternoon, pitching deep into the ball game. We've talked about how good the Jays bullpen has been and how the Royals bullpen has struggled. But today, the Royals bullpen won the battle late in the ball game. The big home run by Alex Gordon, and closing it out was their Joaquin Soria, closing the ball game out for him, and a nice win for the Royals here this afternoon.
Kansas City salvages the final game of the 3-game series, and Robinson Tejeda